Welcome back. Time now for our dawn debate, and we're focusing this morning on politicians who seemingly took a back seat in politics and are now making their way back into politics in the August 8th general election. In studio with us, Jayne Kihara, who is the Jubilee nominee for the Naivasha parliamentary seat. She's also the former member of parliament for Naivasha. We also have Jeremiah Kioni, who also won the nomination ticket for the Ndaragwa parliamentary seat, and he is also the former member of parliament for Ndaragwa constituency. Many thanks for joining us on Morning Express. This is the dawn debate. Let's begin with you, Jayne. Why you come back into politics this time?
I don't think it's a comeback. You know, the fact that you're not in parliament doesn't mean you're not in politics. Wherever you are, you're politicking. It's only that now people have put me back in office. So we've been there, we've been watching. We've been available. It's only that people feel maybe we did a good job and we need to come back.
Right,
yes.
right. Jeremiah, why run this time after taking such a long time in the backseat?
I think it was only 5 years out of the political limelight. But like Jayne says, it's not really quite that one is completely off politics. It's only that you are not the elected member, but you still are an active person, and I have been an active person in politics for the last 5 years. But as again, there will be many reasons as to why people would have preferred you as opposed to the other person. And the challenge is to deliver and really to play the law that the public wants you to play. And that's always going to be the challenge.
Right. And even before we get into this conversation, you both, of course, won in the Jubilee nominations after so many aspirants, seemingly disgruntled, decided to go at it as independent candidates. And now we've seen a lot of push and pull, especially for those who won the nominations, telling those who did not win the nominations to accept and support those who are already in power instead of running as independents. Jayne, maybe just to get your thoughts on the independent candidate factor.
I think it all depends from different areas. Because like in Naivasha, I think we had a fairly, it may not be 100% good exercise, nomination process. And chances are that I got there rightly. And those who have run away, some of them would want to prove they're still there. Others are fairly just lost. There are those who lost. Like in my case, 4 of them went to the tribunal to say that the nomination process was not fair.
Right.
So in that case, if you're not saying it's not him, it's me. So what do all of you want? You know, it's fairly different. It was not the same. Personally, I feel those who went independent in Naivasha are just being a nuisance, for lack of a better word.
Really? Is it, okay, we'll talk about the constitutional right after we hear Jeremiah's thoughts. Was that the situation in Ndaragwa constituency?
We had 8 contestants, and I emerged the winner. I think there are 3 who've gone back as independent candidates for many reasons, including the fact that they think that if they come together and gang up against me, they will be able to defeat me. So I see that their main focus is not really what they want to do for the Ndaragwans and perhaps for the Republic, but more of them trying to defeat me. And some of these things are really useful to pay attention to, because then you can be able to understand whether one has gotten the global thing as to why are you running. Are you running to defeat a person, or are you running to get an opportunity to do something for the people? But again, if you look at the amount of resources we invest in the IEBC, and not just in this country, or other electoral bodies across the world, you will realize that it is not an easy thing. And the issue is to try and get a result that convinces people that it was fair, it was free, it was transparent. So the fact that we have many people who have gone independent doesn't surprise me. it only goes to confirm why is it that we have to continue investing, and why is it's always a major debate around IEBC, because this is a very interesting game. It's a time when you are asking people in life to say whether what they think about you.
Right, and it's especially interesting, especially now with the entry of these independent candidates. Let's wind up on this and just get your thoughts on why you think the independents are a nuisance. It is their constitutional right to run as independents. Many of them felt that the process was not free and fair, and that they would have won the nomination should the process have been free and fair. So what shift is that going to throw in your campaign in Naivasha?
So what I said is that I think the process was not the same everywhere. I only talked about Naivasha, because I know Naivasha, we had a fairly good process. This is what I mean. I don't mean it's a problem. If you feel you have been unfairly treated, it's good to look for your constitutional right. So they are all right in their own way. But in my area, I can assure you here that I don't see a change in what happened. We were also, actually, we were 8 also. So, and don't forget, we were all men.
Right, so quite a big number. Congratulations for that. So let's focus now on the fact that you've both been in politics for quite a while. And Jeremiah, you're now running for Member of Parliament position. But previously, we've seen you run for the position of Deputy President as Musalia Mudavadi's running mate. Why now come down to the position of Member of Parliament?
One, I think it's also important to thank the people of Tarago and the Nyandarua County as a whole for the opportunity that they have given me to, again, present myself to the general elections on the 8th of August.
Right.
Retreat is no surrender. Going back to run for the constituency position is dictated upon by the times we are in. I don't think it is useful to try and pitch for a higher position at this time, given the circumstances that we are in. You're not going to challenge Uhuru Kenyatta and get anywhere at this time and age. Again, given where I'm coming from, I'm not going to try and do that. And even like I saw Peter Kenneth say last night, there is always the right time for something. And I think this is not the right time to try anything else other than to go for that. And most important is that if you still are seeking to serve the people, you serve people at different levels.
All right, I will get back to that. There's a lot of rumors that you were Musalia Mudavadi's running mate, but you may not have voted for Musalia Mudavadi yourself, but we'll get to that. Jayne, a lot of serious allegations have been leveled against you, especially with regard to the 2007 post-election violence. Naivasha was among the hardest hit towns, so to speak, in the election. There were a lot of papers and flyers going around that you were one of the perpetrators or inciters of that same violence, and that issue continued to follow you. Even on your trip to New York, there was a particular incident at the JFK airport where FBI officials questioned you on your involvement in the 2007 post-election violence. Talk to us about that.
Thank you. Let me put it this way. From the onset, it was had been set by those who feared facing me in the election. You know, it was time of politics. And in politics, you want to sweep everybody who comes in your way. So from the onset, I was never involved. In fact, when this happened in Naivasha, I was personally in Nairobi pursuing or having a small secretariat at my house in Nairobi to manage my case. I had a petition, election petition. And when my opponent was served with petition papers, and apparently had gone to seek redress because I had been rigged out in the 2007 elections. That is a time, just like they have always done, they congregate and they want to clear me of the way. So I was kept busy with this post-election thing.
Right.
I was never involved. So my 7 years of trying to shed it off, that is And because my name had been tagged everywhere.
Yes, your name was in the Waki envelope as well.
But let me tell you, there is nobody who came to investigate, to research on that case who never talked to me. Mm-hmm. And my statement was one, from day one, because I was not there, and I was able to put my statement that way, all the way through.
Right, there are also allegations that you had claimed that the ICC had approached you to convince you to be a prosecution witness to fix President Uhuru Kenyatta.
They did not approach me to fix him, mm-hmm. but the allegations were that I and the president were involved and that we worked together. So this is what we were trying to get. Little they didn't know that all the story they had was propaganda. So there was never going to be any time that they were going to catch me.
Have you managed to clear your name from these allegations? Do the people of Naivasha understand the situation?
People of Naivasha know very well. They know I was not involved. They know what I did for them and at what stage they didn't see me. Mm-hmm. Naivasha people know me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, just before we wind up, Naivasha right now is a cosmopolitan town, and there's a lot of political parties seemingly looking for a stake in that same region. What is your strategy to ensure that you emerge the winner in the August 8th elections?
It is cosmopolitan, yes, but NASA claims only one seat, a ward seat. In the flower farms, there is a ward that is purely NASA, and we try to talk to them because if they need an MP to work with, mm-hmm. they need service, so they elect an MP. So we try to talk to them so that much as they elect NASA presidential candidate, and they need an MP and they need an MCA, mm-hmm. then
there must be that show of unity.
Yes.
All right, Jeremiah, let's get to you and those rumors. Did you or did you not vote for Musalia Mudavadi when you were his running mate?
It's like we are going to deal with allegations this morning. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long it will take for me to ever clear the air. But let me say this, that this morning there is, I'm supposed to get a mention date, a hearing date. Today is a mention date. I'm supposed to get a hearing date because I thought it necessary to take to court all those people who thought that they can malign me by depicting me as such a deceitful person. And I will certainly have my day in court. And it is coming. And let me just say, because it is important to just mention that I did vote for Mudavadi. The people who chose to say that I did not vote for Mudavadi went and created a fictitious polling station in a county called Laikipia, and I come from Nyandarua. So it was another scheme of things by individuals and others who continued trying to give it traction.
So you did vote for Musalia Mudavadi?
And I went to court to sue all those who say that I did not vote.
And the case is ongoing 5 years later.
The case is ongoing. This judiciary moves slowly.
All right, so let's focus on the fact that it was after that tag team, the Musalia, Jeremiah Kioni tag team that seemingly did not work, that saw you take a back seat in politics for about 5 years. And that also says something about the nature of our politics when we speak, that when you lose, that seems to be it for you. And when you win, that's it. Do you think we need a political dispensation where a chance is also given to those who lost out on elective seats to also have a chance to govern?
Two things. One is that we did not lose. Is that we were not given an opportunity to get to the front.
Well, that sounds like you lost.
All right, we lost. Let me just say, what happens? We lost. But in politics, and especially when you're looking for those top seats, you don't jump in the first time and expect to win. Rarely would that happen. If you look at the history of all the persons who have led this country, there is a track record of, or there is a chain of things that they will have done to eventually get there. And you also don't expect Kenyans to that you offer yourself and they quickly give you a nod. It's a process. So for me, it is still something in the works.
Right. Just earlier on, you had mentioned that you cannot run against President Uhuru Kenyatta now and win. But you started this 5 years ago. Why didn't you continue that?
I was coming to that. That then this country, we cannot run away from it. And now in our age, perhaps in the coming generation that we have politics that you cannot define them differently from the block you come from. For us to learn from where you come from, Uhuru Kenyatta will have to have finished his term and any other arrangement that is put there. If time allows you to do it, then that will be done. And you just have to be respectful to those, that reality that is there on the ground. If you try from now, Mount Kenya region, to run against Uhuru Kenyatta, it will not be seen as a contest. You'll be seen like somebody who is out to spoil things. And that's the reality. And that's the country we are in. And you cannot change it alone. You need to play along with others, and hope if time presents itself, we'll certainly present ourselves for those positions.
All right, let's have final comments here. Jayne, now running for this position again in Naivasha. Of course, the people must have a lot of trust in you to have nominated you again for this position. What are you planning to do for the people of Naivasha should you be elected?
You know, really, in politics or when you are working for the people, it is not, what is it that you're going to do for them? You are going to serve them. And you know you never do it alone. You do it with them. It is that if you ask me, now they're telling me, come and start where you left, because since you left, nothing has moved. So I had an agenda for them, and it was disturbed somewhere along the line, and they think I should take up. It is consultative leadership. Is that what is it that you people need here? And you know, there's a story that His Excellency, the former President Mwai Kibaki used to tell us. The person you are serving knows his problem. He knows his solution. What he doesn't have is to get to that solution. So that is where you help him.
And you're supposed to bridge that gap. All right, Jeremiah, let's have your final closing comments, your vision for the people of Ndaragwa.
We have projects that we started that were not completed. One that is key for the people of Ndaragwa is water. The distances that people have to travel to get water, and even the quality of water is something that we need to deal with. But as Jayne said, this need for a different kind of leadership. I think it's important to mention that the time we were in Parliament, we had the old constitution. There is a new constitution that calls for a different way of doing things, consulting people more, but more emphasis on the socio-economic rights as opposed to the other political rights that we were fighting for there
and of
before.
course, we do hope you get an opportunity to do that for your people. Good luck in the August 8th
work
elections.
has not been done since you left. So they won't, actually, they came for me.
Right. So we will have to hear from the current Member of Parliament from what he has done for the people of Naivasha. But thank you so much for being part of our dawn debate. Jayne Kihara is the Jubilee nominee for the Naivasha parliamentary seat. We also have Jeremiah Kioni, who is also a Jubilee nominee for the Ndaragwa parliamentary seat. This is the dawn debate on Morning Express. We'll take a short break now, but